Right, here we go. Back again. Back again. Alright? And today, it is Friday, right? So, yeah, it's the Friday fix. And this, of course, is just me covering some stories of interest, right? That's happened through the week or since last week's Friday fix, of course. So, to get straight into it, this is from The Guardian 5 hours ago. COVID-19 may cause brain complications in some, say doctors. And as you can see, it mentions things like strokes. And I think we should keep an eye on this one, because I don't think this will be the end of it. We'll be seeing this again, I'm sure. And this is again BBC, who have been hard at it this week. And it's 1 day ago. Tracers ask over 100,000 to self-isolate. So they've obviously been near people, and the contact tracers have told them, yeah, that's you. You need to isolate now. And this is again BBC 17 hours ago. Police fear disorder as lockdown eases. Right? And yeah, we have been seeing that. And we'll touch on disorder again in a minute. But yeah, it's like people are walking into a trap, really. And 1 day ago, BBC again. UK councils fear bankruptcy amid COVID-19 costs. Now, the council where I am, Murray Council, well, they were already going bankrupt before all this pandemic. So I would imagine that they will be on their way out now, and they won't be the only ones. And of course, it all fits to the agenda, and we know where it's heading. And local councils will most likely soon become a thing of the past. I'm pretty sure of it. And this is, we'll stick with coronavirus stuff from NPR 4 hours ago. And it says, coronaviruses, genetics not changing much. And that bodes well for a vaccine. Hip hip hooray. So as you can see, they're telling us that it's not mutating that much at the moment. So, cue Bill Gates and the vaccine, of course. And yeah, it's coming for sure. And we will touch on that, the vaccine, again in a minute. But again, BBC 4 days ago. Anglesey local lockdown possibility after factory outbreak. And we touched on this, and it was about the meat factory that seemingly had an outbreak of coronavirus cases here in the UK. But it's not just in the UK. And as you can see from this headline, again in our good friends the BBC, 3 days ago, why have there been so many outbreaks in meat factories, right? So obviously meat can be more affected than previously thought. That'll be the next one, of course. And I've seen this as well. This is more heartbreaking stuff coming out in terms of the effects of the lockdown. And again, BBC, children developing post-traumatic stress from pandemic. No, not from pandemic, from lockdown, from the rules and regulations of the criminal lockdown, of course. And it says, children are developing serious mental health conditions, including post-traumatic stress because of the coronavirus pandemic, a charity has warned. Right, so now charities are stepping in to say, look, well, wait a minute, this is going to affect children in a bad way. And of course, unfortunately, they're absolutely correct. It is going to have, or is having even, a horrendous effect on people and unfortunately children. And it's just going to get worse, really. But this is something that we will touch on in Lockdown Effects Part 2, which will be available on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. So sticking with the Friday fix, this is from the BBC again, 2 days ago. Coronavirus looking for viruses in Thai bats. Wow. And yeah, we all know about this and the bat soup. And seemingly it came from there, and yeah, who knows, right? Sure. But they better watch the BBC. They better watch they don't put that on YouTube, because this is one of YouTube's guidelines of what you can't say, and you can't make a video alleging that if you avoid Asian food, you won't get CV. So the BBC better tread carefully if they're going to put that out on YouTube, right? I'm sure they'll be fine. But this is from the BBC again, 3 days ago. Japanese supercomputer, crowned world's fastest, is fighting coronavirus. Who'd have thought it, right? So don't worry, folks. The fight is in the hands of a computer now, a supercomputer. They're going to deal with it. So yeah, you just lock up and you'll be fine. Lock yourself away, wrap yourself in a bubble, and the computer will deal with the virus, right? It's crazy stuff, really. But of course, this is where we are today. This is 1984, 2020, isn't it? This is where we are. Everything's in the hands of AI now, really. And finally, just in terms of the lockdown, 7 hours ago, our good friends again. What could local lockdowns look like in England? And again, we've touched on this for months now, that it possibly will head in the way of local lockdowns, community lockdowns, towns on lockdown. That's the way it could end up in terms of a second wave. And in terms of a second wave, which we usually touch on, well, the conditioning for that it continues all the time, really. It's constant. And we are now beginning to hear of confirmed second waves, as far as I can see. 4 days ago, BBC again, South Korea confirms second wave of infections. So, is it going to be like last time, where it starts in the east and then it just rolls right across the board? That wouldn't surprise me one bit. And this is again BBC 2 days ago. What is a second wave, and is one coming? Question mark. So, what is a second wave, and is one coming? Let's see what our good friends at the BBC say, and the experts, of course. In the UK, health experts are warning ministers to prepare for one, following the decision to further ease restrictions in England from early July. So, it is pretty clear, really, to see what's happening. And people are being set up. That's what's happening. And it then says, the second phase of Spanish flu a century ago was deadlier than the first. So, is a second wave inevitable? And how bad could it be? So they're asking if a second wave's inevitable, but they had to mention that the Spanish flu was worse a second time round. So yeah, all to add to the fear, of course. And yeah, I would imagine that it is going to come, but the question is, how bad is it going to be? Or how bad are they going to make it out to be, at least? It then says that, firstly, what is a second wave? You can think of it like waves on the sea. The number of infections goes up and then comes back down again. Each cycle is one wave of coronavirus. Right, so there you go. We're at sea now. That's the way it is. And of course, when you're at sea, the waves never end. They just keep coming and coming and coming. So is this going to be the case for coronaviruses? Is this what the future is now? Is it just going to be wave after wave? That's probably what it's going to be, let's face it. And it then says that, will a second wave come to the UK? The answer lies almost entirely with the decision we make. So it could go either way. Right, so if there is a second wave, it's going to be your fault. It's our fault. Of course it will be. That's what they're going to say. And I've already said this. Of course they'll say that it's our fault for trying, of course, to live our lives. Shock horror, heaven forbid, right? And this is the very latest from the UK in terms of CV and lockdowns. And it's from Sky News 39 minutes ago. coronavirus still out there. PM condemns people taking too many liberties. How dare they, right? I mean, imagine actually trying to go outside to a beach and enjoy yourself. Imagine that. What a liberty. And of course, people are walking straight into a trap. That's exactly what it is. But it wouldn't matter. Even if everyone stayed in, they would still pull the same trick for sure. And I wanted to touch on the vaccine, like I said, as well. So we'll cover that quickly. And this is from the Times 2 hours ago. And it says, when will a coronavirus vaccine be delivered across the UK? Because, like the media says, we're all waiting on it. We're all anxiously locked up in our homes, waiting on this vaccine, just like me and you, right? And it says that though progress has been made on treatments for COVID-19, many scientists still believe that a return to normality will be all but impossible without an effective vaccine. Right. So yeah, there it is again. We don't go back to normal until we have an effective vaccine. What a surprise, right? And it did also say that creating a jab in the laboratory is only one part of a complex process. Ah, right. And yeah, I would imagine that that's not the only thing that they have been creating. Right? You get me? Right, good. Anyway, we'll move on from the vaccine. And in fact, actually, I did see this in terms of the vaccine 1 day ago from The Guardian. How will the world's poorest people get a coronavirus vaccine? Oh dear, what about the poor people? What about the Africans? We're all worried about them not getting one. Well, don't worry, because they're going to make sure that everyone gets one. Happy days. And of course, our good friend Bill Gates, he's never far away. And he's been saying that the US is not even close to doing enough to tackle the coronavirus. So they need to, buy more vaccines from Bill Gates? Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it is the Bill Gates testing kits. Maybe the US needs to buy more of them. Or maybe they need to buy both, vaccine and kits, from Bill Gates. And then our hero Bill Gates will think that the US is on the right road. For sure. Why not, right? And there is honestly nothing that this man or being will not keep his paws away from. And as you can see, I wanted to report on this through the week, but I never got a chance. I did mention it the other day, but he is now investing in or betting on lab-produced breast milk for babies. I mean, it sounds absolutely horrific as well as horrendous. A lot of you probably already have heard about this in terms of the milk and the company BioMilk, milk spelt with a Q at the end, of course. And but it's not only Bill Gates. Like I've said before, of course everyone has a role to play. And yeah, it's always the heroes. And as you can see, Breakthrough Ventures investing coalition includes Jeff Bezos, what a surprise, Mark Zuckerberg, shock horror, Richard Branson, Mashushi Sun, Jack Ma, Michael Bloomberg, and Mark Benoff. What a surprise, right? So they were just really missing Elon Musk, and we had a full house. And it does say as well that the BioMilk CEO used to work for, or done a stint at, the Gates Foundation. Surprise, surprise, right? So yeah, Bill Gates, he's always behind it. And I mentioned our pal Elon. We'll get back to Bill another time, but we'll leave him now. I mentioned our pal Elon, and he's always in the news, and honestly it makes me laugh. It's comical. And they're on about this Starship again, And it says here that they shared a photo of the tanks. And as you can see, here's the photo here of the tanks. And yeah, it made me laugh because it actually looks like two batteries. Two AA batteries in a big shed. That's what it looks like. And of course, Elon, he's now involved in making batteries. And yeah, that's quite interesting as well, because is it going to come to a point where they stop making batteries as we know it, as we know them, and we get these special Elon Starlink batteries, 5G batteries, or long-lasting 5G batteries that they can have control over? Of course, that will probably be the future, because like I said, that's what Elon is now involved in as well, is making these new special long-lasting batteries that benefit the environment. Of course, that's what they're telling us, that it'll help the environment. Of course, it's all for our benefit, right? Good. And in terms of 5G as well, I've seen this, and this is quite big. And it says, Ford, first car maker to sign up for private 5G network in UK. Right, and of course, this is the company, car maker Ford, and they've done a deal. They've signed up a deal with Vodafone for 5G in their electric cars. So yeah, it's all coming together pretty nicely for them, really. It's not far away from becoming complete. Once Starlink's up, they'll be laughing, really. And that is just about it for today. There is lots to cover, really, but I didn't want to keep you too long. I will be back tomorrow with another video. But like I said about mayhem and disorder, and a few days back we had a stabbing in London and 3 people died. Well, we've had another one today in the UK, and it was in Glasgow in Scotland, of course. And stabbings happen quite a lot there, to be honest. But this one, the news won't let it go, and it is everywhere, and it is rolling still at the moment. And I would imagine that they will declare it as a terrorist attack. That'll be next, I would imagine. But in terms of these incidents, I think we could be in line to see more. And I'll touch on this again in another video. But that's it for the Friday fix on today. But I will be back tomorrow. And that is about it. Bye-bye.